let's transition to Daniel Jones now. Obviously, I'm joined by Chris the Entertainer. You can catch him on YouTube. I'll put the links in the description as well. But Chris, let's talk about Daniel Jones. A lot of Giants fans are split on the guy. Personally, I wasn't a fan of the pick at number 6. Now, when you look back at the quarterbacks that were drafted, Haskins, not in the league currently. We'll see if he can reboot his career eventually. Drew Lock, he's iffy, not great. We'll see if he can reboot. I think he has talent, but we'll see. So far, outside of Kyler Murray, it's been a lot of meh. And Daniel Jones, he's still a starting quarterback today. And I think that he's going to get another year to prove himself. And I think that he actually, to a certain degree, deserves that third year because I've always said, give quarterbacks, 3 to 4 years to prove themselves if they have some talent. I'm not the biggest Daniel Jones fan, but a big reason why the Giants are not in position to draft Justin Fields, not in position to draft Trevor Lawrence is because Daniel Jones improved in the second half of the season, and the team won some games. He wasn't great. He did play very well versus the Cowboys, but, he improved. He's buying some more time, but I recently made a video saying Daniel Jones is a below-average quarterback. I've compared him to Jameis Winston. I think that he's basically Jameis Winston with a worse arm. I mean, I think Jameis was really up and down, but the one thing you could say about Jameis was, man, he's got a cannon for an arm. Jones, his arm's okay, but I want to get your thoughts on Daniel Jones. What were your expectations of Jones heading into, his career as a Giant, and what have you seen so far? Are you sold on him?
Okay, yeah, a lot of Giants fans get on me for my opinion on Daniel Jones because I am not conclusive one way or the other. A lot of Giants fans are completely done with him, which I am not. And a lot of Giants fans are completely sold on him, which I am not. I was not in love with the pick when they made everybody knows that my draft reaction.
What is it? Oh my! Oh my! You gotta be! You gotta be! How did they take Daniel Jones? How did they? Jones? The New York Giants sent up Daniel Jones over Josh Allen. No way!
I was not happy. I wanted Josh Allen. The edge rusher who ended up with Jacksonville. He actually got hurt this year. I think he only had 2 sacks, but I was a big fan of his coming out of Kentucky. He was actually, I remember I did my first draft profile video on him. I was in love with him. So my reaction had as much to do with that as taking Daniel Jones. I actually didn't hate Daniel Jones. I thought I had him ranked 3rd at the quarterback position in that draft. I had Haskins above him. I'll be the first to say it coming out. I thought Jones was probably more ready for the pro game, being that he played at Duke, undercut Cliff, had the pro pedigree. I thought Haskins had a little bit more upside. He had a really good arm at Ohio State. Didn't work out for Haskins. A lot of people point to his work ethic. And obviously he wasn't given the best of situations there in Washington. Jones, to me, improved this year, like you said. I knew he was going to struggle this year to start the season. And anybody that was reasonable had to think that. You were changing offensive coordinators. And I don't think he fits Garrett's scheme as well as he fits Shermer's. He was drafted for Shermer's scheme. You were changing offensive coordinators. You had a challenging schedule to start the year. I mean, you look at the teams we played to start the year in a new scheme. You got Pittsburgh, great defense. You had the Bears, good defense. You had the Rams, good defense. You had the 49ers, pretty good defense. It was a laundry list of good defenses. So I knew he was going to struggle to start the year. I'm not making excuses. His final statistics aren't where I was hoping they would be. Make no mistake about it. But when you look at the lack of weaponry, you factor in that Saquon Barkley went down after the first game. I think that has a lot to do with it. You look at Jones' stats with Barkley, without him. 23 touchdowns, 8 picks with Saquon Barkley in the lineup over 10 games. 9 touchdowns, 13 picks over 14 games without him. He's a different quarterback. And some of that may have to do with the scheme. But regardless, I think we all agree Barkley in the lineup is going to generate more attention towards him helping out the passing game. So I think getting Barkley back, trying to bring in a weapon this offseason, that's what this offseason for me is about as a Giants fan. Finding out whether or not Daniel Jones is the guy. And in order to do that, the Giants have to get him some weapons. You need to get Barkley back. You need to go out there. You need to draft yourself a wide receiver. Maybe you sign one as well. You've got to revamp this offense and give him all the pieces that he needs. And if he doesn't get it done, if he's not a borderline top 10 quarterback at the end of the year, that's when you start thinking outside the box. But going into next season, I want to give him a fair opportunity. I want to give him a fair shake. And to do that, I think the Giants got to get him some weapons. And if he doesn't work out, the next guy that comes in is set up better than he was.
Yeah, my biggest knock on Jones really is the turnovers, because you look at his career, so far I actually did some research. He started 26 games, and Chris, he's got 39 turnovers, man. And listen,
No. I agree with you. But over his last 5 games, only 1 turnover. Fumbles and interceptions combined.
Again, like I said, he improved. But the thing about it is, look, you can't win games in the NFL if your quarterback consistently turns the ball over. Look at Tampa Bay last year. They had a really good offense. And a lot of the same pieces are still there. You have Mike Evans, you had Godwin, you had the good tight ends, They had a really good offense, but they only won 7 games because they were turning the ball over so much, And I think that's really the big focus with Jones. Can he cut down the turnovers? But another knock that I kind of have on Jones is I think his upside is good, but not great. When I look at a guy like Josh Allen, man, his upside is off the charts. And I just think that Jones on his best day, if you were to line up 20 quarterbacks and Jones was in that category, I think on his best day, I still think 15 to 20 quarterbacks can beat him. I really think that their best day might be better than his. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I'd go that far. It's hard for me to judge what his best day is because the Giants set him up so poorly. It really is. That's my honest assessment. It is hard for me to judge that. He's had a bad offensive line, which is we're hoping is getting better. He hasn't had the weaponry. I understand what you're getting. He's never going to be Josh Allen. Never going to be Josh Allen. I watch Josh Allen and I say to myself, there's 3 quarterbacks that I've seen in the NFL over the last 15 to 20 years that I look at and my eyes pop out of my head when I just see their raw talent and ability. Josh Allen is one of them. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes. When I see those guys play, my eyes pop out of my head. I'm not saying that Brady's not the greatest. I get it. But he doesn't have the raw, physical, natural talent that a guy like Josh Allen does. I mean, I watched that throw he made last week in the playoffs. This guy, he's facing the throw. He's not even stepping into it. His body's like this rather than like this. His body's like this, facing the defender, doesn't step into the throw, snaps his wrist like this. The ball's like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, 40 yards down the seam, and he hits Diggs. Quarterback shouldn't be able to make that throw. So Daniel Jones will never have the upside of Josh Allen. Make no mistake about it. Do I think he can develop into a good quarterback? Yeah, because I do. And I'm not that I'm ever going to compare him to Tom Brady. But I look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not the most gifted quarterback. He's a guy that got good coaching. He got good players around him.
Not to cut you off, but the one thing Jones does have is his mobility. I think that he needs to use his legs a little bit more. He needs to use those legs a little bit more.
You got to worry about injuries, though, too. But I agree with you. He needs to use his legs a little bit more. He did get better, in my opinion, in the pocket in terms of reading pressure and things like that. He's still not where I want him to be, but he improved in that aspect. The thing with Jones is I feel like he improved at everything I wanted him to going into the year in terms of the nuances of the game, the pre-snap reads.
But he didn't make a whole lot of big plays like he did last year.
He didn't make a whole lot of big plays. Yeah. It was kind of the reverse. The year before, he made some big plays, but he had the fumbling issues. He was bad at pre-snap reads. He got better in those aspects. Still not where I need him to be, but he got better there. But he didn't have the big plays, and he didn't win games. So next year, I think it needs to all come together. And if it doesn't, well, then maybe we're looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I'm pretty much saying about Jones is he got the turnovers. That's an issue. That needs to cut down. But even if you take away the turnovers, I think that you could find a quarterback to make some of the throws that he can make. If I'm evaluating quarterbacks, I kind of want a quarterback that's anywhere from the 16 to 18 range. I think that if they're not one of those quarterbacks, I'm done with them. I want to upgrade. I want something else, because I'm
gonna take it further. I want top 10 because I don't know. Maybe Jones will be that, but in today's NFL, if I'm gonna give a quarterback a second contract with the amount of money that they make, they got to be top 10. I look at quarterbacks that are even top 10 that got those second contracts. They did nothing. Matt Stafford didn't win anything after he got that second deal. Matt Ryan, after he got the deal when they went to the Super Bowl, hasn't done anything. You've got to be an elite or borderline elite talent, in my opinion, to warrant that contract. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much all about Jones. We'll see if he can improve in his third season because it's a make or break year, Chris. It really is. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. and I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.